Hi, this is Glenn Case, and I have interviewed Giuliana of the band Kicksie. Kicksie just put out a brand new album called Big Sucker, and I asked Giuliana about all of the songs from that album, as well as some other questions in general. I'm just a very big fan, and I'm glad that she took the time, and I believe that's how I start off the interview, is thanking her for her time, which you will see now.
Thank you for making the time, first
of all. God, thanks for doing this. I'm excited.
Absolutely. Same here, for sure. Obviously, and I'm joined by your vinyl here.
Oh my God. Pokemon cards.
Yep, absolutely. So to the best of
gosh.
Thus far, these are the only two that have been released on vinyl. Is that the case?
That is true.
Thus far. Is there any plans for physical media on the new album?
Yes, I think we have vinyls that we're working on now, and then I think we might just do CDs, cassettes, stuff like that.
It makes sense. Any stuff that you can sell, like physical product that you can sell at concerts and everything too. And one of my other questions that I had with that is, in the concerts that you've done, do you have any memories of particularly interesting things that have happened at shows, whether good or bad?
Oh yeah, I have many. Hopefully I'm not gonna blank out. There's this one time, maybe this isn't great. This is a pretty bad thing that happened, but it always stuck with me. Really, really early on when we first started playing as a band, we did this one show in Toronto with a couple other bands, and the other bands didn't really match our vibe at all, and they kind of brought out a crowd that I can't explain it, but the crowd was throwing beer cans and stuff on stage at our gear and stuff, and just being really rowdy, and it was intense. That was definitely an interesting thing that happened at a show once.
Did you end up continuing on with the show, or what ended up happening?
Yeah, we did, but then right after we left, immediately after our set, we were we gotta go. That was wild. I think the thing with the other two bands is that they kind of riled up the crowd a little bit, and it was very much their vibe. But as far as as Kicksie goes, we don't really getting things thrown at us.
One of my other questions was 3 of your favorite songs by bands or artists that you think people should hear, whether it's new or old. What are some of your go-tos that just off the top of your head that are
off the top of my head? There's a couple. One, there's this band, She's a Robot, that has this song called Snake Hands, and I love them. They're from Texas, and they should be way more well-known than they are. They're a great band.
I could doubt you. I could never live without you. Feeling lost, I hope I found you, but I don't know where to go. I don't know.
There's a band from Toronto called Wedding. Honestly, all of their music is good. I can't even pick a song because it's all good. I'll suggest the song Cinnamon. I think that's a great track.
Before I close my lids, I want more.
And today I discovered a song that I just fell in love with, actually. It's called, I'm taking a look because I just found it today. I'm just really excited about this. This song's called Crystal Clear by Teo. I was just on Spotify today, just making playlists and stuff, and this song had come up on one of the recommended songs to add, and I took a look at it and I was like, whoa, this song is awesome. So
is it jade? Is it emerald? What's the shade? It's not crystal clear.
So yeah, those are some tracks I've been listening to recently that I've been in love with.
Some of my favorite classic Kicksie tracks I wanted to go ahead and ask about was first of all, Ouroboros is one of my go-tos. When I start listening to that song, I can listen to it on repeat without getting sick of it. One of the many favorite things about that is the time signature shifts, where you go into 3/4 for portions of that. as far as doing time signature shifts, are there any major influences that contributed to you deciding that would be a cool trick for me to do?
As far as specific influences when it comes to other artists, I think no one in particular, but I was listening to a lot of math rock around that time. I wouldn't consider maybe like more Mad Dash kind of stuff is like the closest I've ever been to math rock, but I wouldn't consider really anything else that I've done kind of math rocky, but I've always been like really inspired by it and really inspired by like the guitar tones and the way that they can just shift time signatures really just without warning. I think it's really cool. And so I try to incorporate that into the music I make because I think that should be done like across all types of genres. I think that should be done in pop more. And it's just really interesting and like really fun to hear. So I try to incorporate it whenever I can, whenever it sounds good, of course. Like,
Go Getter is another one of them that's a classic example where you're not afraid to use nanas and lalas. And so the nanas and
oh, yeah.
Go Getter.
And I thought you were perfect, but I should have known better. I should have known better.
Where did it come to you that like it would be good to throw some nanas in here?
I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I need to fill up the space and I don't want to write more words. And so that is like the only thing I can think of, which is just some la la la's and stuff. I enjoy throwing those in every once in a while because I've always been a fan of like crowd vocals, like big, like just lots and lots of layers. It's something I do all the time. So like having like a na 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 section is just a great point where I can just do like a crowd vocal, and I love those.
It seems like that's something that would work well at concerts too, is you can actually get your crowd to sing along with your nana part and they don't have to memorize any lyrics for that.
Oh yeah, that's sort of that's part of the reason why I do it too, because when I'm writing these songs a lot of the times I'm thinking of what would like work well in like a live setting, and like what parts specifically could I make, like if I were to ever play this live, what parts would I really want to stand out in like a live performance, and so I add lots of those things because yeah, it seems to go over well when we play it live.
With You're On, there's the lyric, and don't try to stall or hit me with the blue shell just to win. And with the mention of the blue shell, my question is, what is the best Mario Kart game?
The best Mario Kart game? So I actually don't play a lot of Mario Kart, but I'll say maybe Mario Kart 8 because that's the one that I have played the most. And there was one for the Nintendo DS when I was a kid that I used to play all the time, and I forgot what it was called. I'm assuming it was just called Mario Kart DS. I don't remember.
I think that might be the title, yeah.
But yeah, that game, I was on that when I was a kid.
For sure. And I think the blue shell is such a thing that's so known culturally that you could even not have played Mario Kart and people would know what that meant.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Slouch was definitely my introduction to your music. I ended up hearing like a couple of the songs off of that, and I'm like, I need to look more into this artist. She's incredible. But one of the things I thought is that the audio quality, I'm like, okay, she has to have gone into a fancy studio for this and gotten like a producer. But you produced the album yourself, didn't you?
I did. I always have, and I probably always will.
Yeah, I mean, if you can make it sound that good too. I mean, it really genuinely, to me, I heard what sounded like, oh, this is like a boost in quality. You just got better at mixing and mastering is what I'm thinking happened.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's always been so much fun. Like anytime I'll finish a record, I'll like go back to the beginning and I'll listen to like a couple tracks from each of the records like that have come before. It's just like really, it's interesting to see like how crazy of improvements there's been, like specifically mixing and mastering, because I didn't know how to do it at all when I first started making music. I just like didn't have the money and I was like too young to actually get it mixed and mastered, so I was just kind of learning as I went. And then I think when I did Slouch was kind of when I was the first time I was like really comfortable, I think, and I was like, I feel like I know what I'm doing.
There's nothing wrong with the earlier recordings, but they sound more like an independent artist that's just like
Yeah.
figuring their way out. And that's like, oh wow, this sounds like the major label debut, basically, sort of thing. So
Yeah, well, I'm happy to hear it. Very happy to hear it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's when you're the one mixing, and I'm sure you know this as well. Like you also make music. It doesn't. It always. There's just always going to be something about it that's like, does it sound different? Like, does it sound good? Like, how does it like hold up against like other songs and stuff? There's always like those doubts like in your head. So it's nice to get that confirmation that it in fact sounds all right.
Oh, yeah, it sounds incredible. Like the A/B comparisons where you end up actually like listening to this, then this is like, oh, this sounds so much quieter. And I listen back to stuff that I recorded even like in 2014 and I cringe. I'm like, I can mix this so much better now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, is that been your experience as well? Where you?
It's been exactly my experience. Like I'm like sometimes like especially with all my friends, I think was a record where the songs to me were like really. I had so much fun writing that record, but if I knew then what I know now, I really think I could have taken that album to like a whole different level. But at this point, it's too late. I'm just gonna let it be.
Well, you could always do like the 10th anniversary remaster.
That's true.
See, that's the sort of thing.
I could do that.
That would be a fun thing for sure. Now, Pretty Girl is a fantastic song, but you went with 1 minute long, just a little over a minute in length, and I don't know if this is a surprise or if you want to keep this to where like people don't know, but it's not on the album.
It's not.
Give a little bit, take a little more though. You don't wanna know why your guns and your knife phone. Love a little kiss, take a little risk, move out of the way, bitch I'm stepping in.
Is this like an outtake sort of thing where it's like, I'm going to go ahead and put this out there as its own thing? It's not on the album, but here's one that almost made it. Is that what was going on there?
Not at all. So what we did is I was on the phone with my manager Regina one night, and we were discussing promo and like when to release this record that we're doing. And because I haven't released anything in so long, we came up with this whole thing where it's like, what if I just drop like I just write like a really quick song, just like a minute long is what we said, just like the catchiest song I could come up with, like in the shortest amount of time, just drop it and kind of almost get people listening again, I guess, before even the singles for the record come out. So it was just a big marketing tactic, really, is what it was. But I after that call, I was like, okay, goodbye, I'm gonna go write a song. And then I finished that song that night, and then within the next like couple of days I had it mixed and like ready to go, and then we just released it.
Are there any plans to make music videos for the new album?
For the album, the goal is that I do a video for each one, but we'll see if I actually do it. I would at least like to have videos for the singles, like at the very least. Most of them are just going to be DIY, just normally how I do things. Maybe a couple like bigger productions, I guess, but I just love making content in general, so I'm always trying to like put little videos and stuff together. So hopefully I can commit to the whole record. We'll see though.
I did notice that they're stylized in all caps. Is that how you prefer that they end up being listed as all caps? Like, is that how it's going to show up on the streaming services and such?
I think so. I think it's something that I've always seen other artists do, and I always really liked it. I think some artists also do like all lowercase, but it feels a little softer to me. Like I almost want to be screaming at you. So I went with the caps this time. I've never done it before. I figured I'd try to do things differently and see what happens mostly.
I had notes about each song. That was, I felt like the best thing that I could do is listen to the album over and over, write some impressions and some questions based on the specific songs. So we start with the definition of insanity, and it's probably right immediately was in my top 3 favorites on the album. I think it's a great album starter. The stops and starts are fantastic, and I love the use of glitch sounds. So I'm
Thank
wondering
you.
if the glitch things, if there's a specific influence there too.
I was listening at the time, not that maybe this song more than any of the others was pretty hyper pop inspired, I would like to say. And they've got like those little glitchy sounds and whatnot. But I think also like I was listening to some like breakcore just drum beats that I was just really just interested. I was really into like sampling drum beats around that time, which is how I did a lot of the drums for the record. Was originally they were just like chopped up like 70s funk samples that I ended up just re-recording after with my drummer Morgan, who he drummed on the record. Just so we didn't get copyrighted or anything, but like he did an amazing job with like recreating just the beats, and he just took them to like a whole other level. But specifically with that song, I guess the whole idea was that throughout it, I kind of wanted to glitch out the song just to kind of show that the whole point of insanity, right, is that you're kind of, by the end of it, you're like, it's just all messy and stuff. So I thought that it would be like a cool idea to kind of just take the whole track and just like skip it. Thought that could be interesting.
Yeah, and so we get to the second song, My Car, and fun use of the whammy pedal. I was going to say, first of all, on that.
Why,
and
thank you.
I was driving while I was listening to the song, so the car horn threw me off.
Right. I was not thinking about that until just now.
But I caught on quick, though. I caught on like, oh, that's part of the song.
Gas isn't cheap, but I'm finally free, so it doesn't matter to me. Taking all my plans 'cause I'm skipping town.
So I thought that the car horn sound itself might have a story behind it. Is that something? Did you go and put a microphone to your own car, or like?
Yes, that is my car. That's my Toyota Corolla 2014. And I thought that it would be really nice to just that it's an ode to my vehicle, of course. So I couldn't just get any car. It had to be mine. So
See, that's perfect. So your car makes the appearance on the song that's about that
Yeah.
car. It doesn't get much better than that. That's fantastic. Did you have to pitch it at all in order, like the pitch shift, in order to get it to match the thing?
I don't think I did, but I did have to stretch it out, I think, to be in time. I did edit it a little bit. I don't remember if I pitch shifted it. If I did, it was only a little bit, I think. I don't remember doing anything too crazy with that.
Pleaser Man, it sounds like you're having a blast doing the auto tune on this. And
Oh.
although I know that you've used the auto tune for a while, and I would use the example of A Message from Selena from All My Friends as one of the examples where you
Right.
definitely had the auto tune going on there.
Thank you very much. Go Kicksie.
How are you achieving your auto tune sounds right now at this point? What are you using?
I actually, when I was doing the demos for this record, I was using just Logic's stock pitch correction. However, when you record with it, there's like this crazy latency that happens. It's just really tough to record with it. But I was using it so much that I wanted to incorporate it into like my live performances. So I was like, okay, what do I do? Because I don't want to be bringing a whole laptop and everything just to get some pitch correction happening. So I was looking into it, and there's actually vocal pedals that you can put on your pedal board. I think it's a TC or something, Helicon, hard tune, something, but it's just like a little guitar pedal. You can plug your mic into it, and then you can pick the key. It even has like an option to make your voice like really low or like really like chipmunky. And so yeah, I bring that to the live shows now, and I also recorded it for the record. So all the auto tune is just off of that pedal.
We don't even make it out the car. Even make it bitch in park. Put that bitch in park. Sink my teeth into your neck. One and second, all in that. I'm texting back. I'm not even second best.
But I was A/Bing them when I was recording the final vocals for it, the digital auto tune and the pedal. and they were slightly different, but it was pretty much it sounded the same. I think the pedal for sure had just like a tiny bit of just like an extra little sauce that I liked, so I did end up going with it. But yeah.
And it makes it where you can recreate at least some of your live sound, like when you play the live shows too. That's great to have that as an option.
Oh yeah, the people love it. The people who are seeing like Kicksie for the first time when we play live, as soon as I pull up the auto tune, they're just everyone loves it.
Big Sucker, song number 4, Big Sucker. You have that flat 7th note going into the chorus that almost sounds unintentional the first time, and then it's just awesome from then on.
Left my city heart and soul, but sometimes it don't feel like home, 'cause I'm now across state lines in a cave and your eyes meet mine.
Because you would normally expect it to go like to a 3rd, 5th, or an octave. What made you decide to go to the 7th on that?
That's an interesting question. I think that at least with a lot of this record, something that I was trying to achieve was almost taking the songs and trying to, because I do it in a few different songs where I'm just like playing chords that normally shouldn't like be there or work, but I really love putting things that don't sound like they should, or like passing tones almost, or like passing chords. My absolute favorite thing in the world. I think it just adds something. It just adds something so special, and I think there's this tension as well, that you can't really get unless you just go out of the key. It makes sense, and it's something that I love. To me, it sounds great every single time, so I do it so often. Like I just can't help myself.
Now we come to song number 5. It's Won't Ask, Won't Tell, and I'm just going to say this is perhaps my favorite song on the album. And the problem with it being the favorite song on the album is that at first I had no notes. It's like I don't have anything to say except that I love this. It is solidified, I think, by the fact that when you go to the solo, that it's following the chorus melody. I think that that's a nice touch. I would say that this would be one of my first picks for a single or a music video. Do you know which songs you're planning on having as singles?
The songs that I am planning is My Car first, and then Nicole second. And this was tough because Won't Ask, Won't Tell, to me, is also one of the best songs. It was the last song that I wrote for the record, and the only reason I wrote it was that at the time, it was 14 tracks, and I really wanted it to be 15 tracks because I wanted the Butter like radio interlude to be smack in the middle of the record. That ended up not even happening because we did take out 2 of the songs, and then my manager just like rearranged the whole track list. So Butter didn't end up in the middle of the record, and so there was actually no point in me even writing the song, but I'm really happy that I did, because it ended up being just one of my favorite songs. And I think that normally happens a lot, I think, where the songs that you're just writing throwaway tracks end up being like the best songs, I think, because there's like no pressure to make it incredible. I think, but yeah, it was definitely really hard for it not to be a single. I think the only reason why I picked My Car and Nicole is because both of them, at least when I play them live, the crowds just they love them, and so I'm kind of using my analytics, if you will, to kind of to put out the songs that I think will do the best, considering when I've played live, these are the songs that people are like, oh, I love this, I love that. But if it were up to me in a perfect world, I would have probably dropped Won't Ask, Won't Tell as a single.
You might still have the opportunity as a third one.
I could. Maybe I'll just throw it in there for fun, you know?
See? There you go. I will say, and you accidentally, without meaning to, perhaps there, you answered my question about Butter right away, because I noticed super short song. My notes say Butter, super short song, and it's right around the halfway point of the album. What made you decide to play? What made you decide to place this song where you did on the album, and how much thought did you put into the song sequence? And you basically just answered that.
I guess
That's
so,
where you
yeah.
plan.
Yeah, but yeah, originally it was supposed to be like smack in the middle, and I think it's still very close to the, like, if you take the timestamp, it's pretty much there still, but not really.
Spread you like butter, melt you on my tongue, tugging on my chain, the kitty on my dog. Don't act like you're not falling in love. Come back to earth, where you at?
Yeah, Butter originally was not supposed to be. It was supposed to be a full song. And then I realized one day that I just hated it, and I was like, God, this song. It was like 2 minutes long, and I'm like, God, this song is so bad. And so I sent it to Alex, who's in my band. He plays bass. And he was like, why don't you make it like 30 seconds, just chop out like everything you can about this song and just keep just like the main parts. And then why don't you do something weird, like put it as like a secret like song after one of them. So originally it was supposed to be after a song, like on the same track, almost one of those, like, you know, how the, but then I heard it on its own, and I was like, I can't. This has to be just like a little interlude. Like, it can't be a secret track. It goes so hard. and so yeah, it went from being a song that I was gonna take it off completely, but I'm glad that I didn't. I think as like a little radio interlude, just like purposely mixed just terribly. I guess it works.
So song number 6 is Satin Lace. The slowdown is fun and similar to the tempo switches and sinking in. The sound also starts to warp a bit, and I was wondering if you're familiar with the genre of vaporwave, like if there's any vaporwave influences anywhere.
I used to listen to vaporwave a lot when I was younger, and maybe it could have subconsciously found its way into this song. I definitely was using some plugins that were specifically meant to like degrade the quality. I think it's like lo-fi something. It was just so it pretty much is doing the thing, you know. But yeah, I think maybe it seeped its way in there for sure.
So number 7 is If You Want to Go. And around the 1 minute 3 second mark, things change up enough that to me it almost sounds like you may have combined 2 unfinished songs. Am I on the right track with that?
You are pretty much on the right track with that. Yes.
I gave all I had, you gave up without even trying. We can't avoid it, 'cause every clock must tell it's time. Tell your new friends I'm an old friend, that we don't hang anymore.
That song was another song that I was just going to completely take off the record, which now that it's finished and I'm hearing it would have been an insane idea. But originally I had this idea for this breakdown halfway through, and it just wasn't working. There must be like 30 different versions of this song specifically for that breakdown part. I just could not get it right. And there was a verse originally that I loved so much that was preventing me from actually really changing much about that song. And so every day I was just working on that song and working on it. And it was really tough to finish up that song, because I thought originally that it changed keys, but I don't think it does. I think it stays in the key it is in originally. I don't know what the heck I did. I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did. I did something on that song, but I ended up, pretty much just sandwiching the first, like the parts, like the beginning and end that were just the song originally, and then I just sandwiched like a whole new section in between it. But yeah, that was the original notes that my band was giving me. They were very much like, you could just split these up into two different songs, and I'm like, but I really want this to work.
We're on to number 9, The
Yeah.
Mess. And The Mess, it's to me, this sounds a bit different than what we're used to hearing from you, but I do think it works. Am I wrong, or am I hearing 1990s R&B influences on this one?
You definitely are. I had my friend TJ play the keys on this song, and he also did Satin Lace as well. And he is very much inspired by that genre of music, and he's perfect at it.
I can't stress enough the mess I made. No one gets you and no one wants to. Tidy up my room, the clothes pile up, the floor disappears from my view.
And so he brought his own influence into the tracks, which is exactly why I wanted him for the job. Because yeah, The Mess, it was pretty much the first time I tried really going outside of my comfort zone. I think it was the second song that I wrote for the record. I Don't Mind You being the first. And I think I wrote The Mess like a week before Slouch came out, but definitely influenced by a lot of 90s, 2000s R&B in general. So had some fun with that song for sure.
All right, so that brings us to song number 10, Nicole, which is going to be one of the singles. And to me, I was noticing you were really letting loose on the vocal.
But please don't tell us all I'm in love with Nicole, 'cause I value my life. She'll kill me if she knows. She just wants to hurt somebody.
What warm-up exercises do you have for making sure that you don't lose your voice, if you have any?
I don't. I don't. I don't even want to admit it, because the people are going to be upset with me, but normally I don't do any vocal warm-ups. I used to, and I was not warming up my vocals correctly, so I ended up just stopping. And I think I went to school for music related things, and one of the classes we had was just like one-on-one kind of vocal lessons. And when I was actually warming up properly, my voice was sounding amazing, but I could just never recreate it for some reason. I don't know why. I just like was figuring out how to do heavy vocals when we did our summer tour in 2023. A lot of the venues we played were like so DIY and just so like I could not hear myself at all, that if I wasn't screaming, like I had no idea what the hell was going on. And so I pretty much just unlocked the ability to do that through that tour. And then it never felt like it hurt, which was really interesting to me. And then I ended up later on going to a vocal teacher just specifically to ask if I was doing it okay. And they confirmed that I was doing it okay and that it sounded like healthy to them. So I'm not sure how I figured that out, but I'm happy to hear that at least.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's definitely an approach.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I'm not going to fix it.
There you go. Song number 11 is Morning Song, another short one. And it sounds like you're having more fun with the auto-tune and what sounds like bird noises. I would imagine that they're bird noises because Morning Song.
Yes.
What are the noises?
They are bird noises. They are one of my very good friends, Michelle, has a bird named Cookie, and that bird, she's chirping. She's always making noise all the time. And so I was like, I wrote a song about being a bird, and this bird has to be on my record.
Please don't clear my wings so I can fly.
And so we just recorded her just squawking as she does. And yeah, she got her little feature. I put her in the credits. as well. So when it
I was
comes
about
out,
to ask, please
Yes.
tell me like that Cookie is going to be in the liner notes.
yeah, Cookie the bird does have her credits, and hopefully they translate because I put them on Spotify too and all that. So hopefully they show up when
Oh,
the
that's-
song drops because I need that to happen.
That's so great. I love that. Like, and I mean, we're talking DIY where you're not even going to a sound library or whatever. It's like you're sourcing the car horns and the bird noises yourself. And there's
I've
nothing
got a
wrong with that.
bird. I might as well use her. I've got a bird.
Song number 12 is Holding My Breath. And at first it seems like it's going to be a classic example of quiet verses and loud choruses. But then the energy just kind of builds up and builds up over the course of the song, and it doesn't really let up. Comes across as a big blast of energy just before the end of the album. Was that kind of what you were thinking? It's like we're coming close to the end of this, so this is like a grand finale. Was that kind of where you were coming from?
Yeah, very much so. I think the original intention it was I think maybe the fourth or fifth song I might have written for this record. The intention behind it was really just I need one song that people are just gonna mosh to, pretty much. Like I just no, like not just like a one line chorus and then we're just throwing down on stage. And so that was pretty much the only reason why I wrote it. But then coming closer to the end of writing the record, I started changing things around about it because I knew that it had to be at the end. It just was one of those songs. And there's one line that I don't even remember it right now. I think it's something I'm getting ready to sing my last song or something. I kind of say that this is the song before the end of the record, somewhere in the second verse, I think. And so I thought it'd be cool to put it there.
Song number 13, I Don't Mind You. Fun writing technique that I've also used. There's the first line that repeats throughout the verse. You have a one line and then extra lyrics, and then that line repeats.
Oh yeah.
It's only getting worse cause you and I are friends, but I'm thinking I might be doomed. It's only getting worse cause every time we talk it's the only thing that I wanna do. It's only getting worse cause I will never learn, and I don't think that I want to.
So my curiosity is, what is your approach when it comes to repetition in songwriting, as far as balancing repetition? Because it's important. It's a lot of the times that's going to be the hook. That's going to be what people gets them interested, is when they hear that repetition. What's your approach as far as repetition in songs?
Normally I don't intend to repeat. It's actually something that it just kind of happens because when I write songs, I'll always start with one chord progression and then I'll put it in Logic and then I'll stretch it out to however long I am imagining the song is going to be. And then from there, I'll write lyrics over top and then I'll almost chop blocks of chords and then add new chords to it after. So because I'm normally singing over just like a looped chord progression and then make the rest of the song underneath it, I tend to just repeat words, and a lot of like filler lyrics that I just throw in end up being just the final lyrics because yeah, but I think nowadays I do it more purposefully because repetition to me, my whole goal is to just it's just pop music. That's just what I have to do. And so repetition is the way that you get there. It's just always going to be catchy as long as you can make sure that it's not repeating to the point where it's annoying, which is why I'm always throwing in like with I Don't Mind You specifically, I might say that line, like that sentence 100 times in that song, but within every 30 seconds, it's just like there's a whole different instrumental playing underneath it that it kind of is okay. Because if I was playing the same chords that I was playing in the first verse 5 minutes later, with the same lyrics, then I'm sure it'd be way more annoying than it is. But
No, that's for sure. And it's using the tools that are available to you. I've done that with, like, there's been some songwriting challenges where the challenge is write a song with one chord. How do you make a song with one chord interesting? Well, it's like, well,
Yeah.
you can play with the lyrics, you can play with the dynamics, you can play with the harmonies, you can play with all of these other things, and the rhythm, and like, so like, okay, so I know I have to do this, so let's change up the other things. It seems like that's very much what you're talking about, is a similar approach there.
yeah,
For sure.
very much like that.
June 6th. Definitely looking forward to people getting a chance to hear this. I love the album. Been listening to it on repeat, and I thank you very much for your time.
Oh my gosh, of course. What a pleasure. Thank you so much.